What's up, guys? It's Tearless here. I'm back inside the Guild Wars 2 Path of Fire beta, or demo, whichever you would like to call it, and I'm looking at another elite specialization, this time the Scourge, which is the elite specialization for the Necromancer coming in the expansion Guild Wars 2 Path of Fire. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was very confused trying to learn this new elite specialization. It's interesting. It has some zoning capabilities. If you are familiar with the Revenants of Ventari stance, the Centaur stance, it's gonna feel a little bit similar to it. With that being said, we're going to go through all of the talents first, and then we're going to go through all of the utility abilities that come with the Scourge, and then lastly, we're going to go through the new weapon abilities, which is actually pretty short. It's one of the few classes this time around that just gets an offhand. Back in Heart of Thorns, there were a lot of classes that got only an offhand, and this time, I believe it's only the Necromancer. I could be wrong there, but I believe they're the only ones. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the main talent tree right here real quick. And the first ability is going to explain everything. First, you should know that you have ability to wield a torch, so that your 4 and 5 ability and your offhand will be new. And we will take a look at those later. But this is the main ability, the main change with the Scourge, and that is Mantle of Sand. Gain the power to craft sand shadows and command them using your life force. Gain access to punishment and shade skills. So punishment are the new utilities, and the shade skills deal with the new sand shadows that you're creating. You can see them right here. These are the 4 new shade skills. So that is the new stuff that is coming. So yes, they only get a torch coming their way for in terms of new abilities, weapon abilities, but they do get the new sand shade skills, or the shade skills as they refer to them here. So with that being said, I'd like to kind of explain the shades a little bit. As I mentioned before, it's kind of like Ventari's tablet, in that you summon something on the ground, and you're able to do abilities off of what you summon on the ground. The difference is where Ventari's tablet, you kind of have to move all over the place as a Revenant. These are stationary. They stay where you are, but you can fire up 3 of them. So I'm just going to fire one down right here just so you can see it. And then that shade right there will be able to use any of these abilities pending that I have life force here. Now, you may have noticed that I lost my ability to go into my my shrouds with Reaper Spec, my Reaper Shroud, or the basic shroud that you get with a Necromancer. So that has gone now and is no longer available. Before we get into the talent tree, let me go ahead and show you the main ability here, which is Manifest Sand Shade. Manifest a sand shade using some of your life force. However, for some reason, it didn't take any of my life force there. It may be a talent through this tree here. Using some of your life force, manifest a shade, manifest a sand shade. Sorry for the linguistic trouble. Manifest a sand shade using some of your life force. Whenever you use a shade ability, you and your sand shades strike nearby enemies. So it's kind of all of you guys working together. And it's great zoning because you're able to place 3 of them down. So that's going to be the big thing is I think, as if, Necromancers already weren't proficient enough in zoning with their marks off of the staff skills, they're going to be even better now. So, with that knowledge, let's go ahead and look through the talent tree. As you can see, Mantle of Sand here. I've already explained through that. Let's look through the first abilities. We have Abrasive Grit. Granting an ally a barrier removes conditions, afflicting them, and grants might. I had an awkward pause there at the wrong moment. Granting an ally barrier removes conditions, afflicting them, and grants might. So there it is. 1 condition removed and 2 stacks of might. Second one here is Fell Beacon. Torch skills gain reduced recharge. gain expertise based on condition damage. So gain expertise based on the percentage of condition damage, 7%, and the reduced recharge is 20%. The last one here is Nourishing Rot. I don't know how rot can be nourishing, but whatever. Gain life force for every boon you remove or corrupt. I have a feeling this is going to be essential because basically you gain life force just from nearby deaths. And if you're not killing people enough in, say, World v. World, then you start having issues. So I have a feeling this is going to be a rather important talent. I could be wrong. You know, I haven't used the Scourge out in World v. World, so I'm not sure how it's going to work out. The second ability here is Sand Sage. Gain concentration and expertise for each of your active sand shades. So that's 75 per sand shade, so you're going to get a total of 225 concentration and expertise if you have all three of them up. In the second tree here, we have Desert Empowerment. Manifest Sand Shade grants a barrier to allies near it. Barrier, I could be wrong, but it's the first time I've ever seen it. Barrier is something new that's coming in Guild Wars 2 Path of Fire, and it's basically just a shield. So you can hit 5 targets with that, but it's a small radius, only 180, so take note of that. There is Sadistic Searing. Punishment skills gain reduced recharge and cause your next manifest sand shade to inflict burning on foes near it. So this makes your sand shades a bit more offensive capable. And there's Sadistic Searing, 10 seconds. Summoning your next sand shade inflicts burning on nearby foes. And punishments, just so you know, are your new utility skills. And the last one here is Unending Corruption. Manifest Sand Shade corrupts boons on foes near it. Boons converted to conditions. There he goes, 1, and number of targets 5. That should probably sync up pretty well with the Nourishing Rot that you have as well. The third ability here is Blood as Sand. Reduce incoming damage for each sand shade you have active. I just want to call them shades instead of sand shades. So damage reduction 5%, so up to 15% for the 3 shades. And then your last tree, you have Sand Savant, or Savant. You can summon only 1 shade at a time. This greater shade has reduced recharge. You affect more targets and influence a larger area with shade skills. A greater shade counts as 3 shades for all related skills. I'm going to go ahead and just show this to you right away so you have an idea of what this looks like. As you can see, the area is much larger than the one I showed before. And there you can see the larger area of effect. So we'll see how that turns out. I'm not quite sure. So, with that, we have the second one here, which is Demonic Lore. Torment you inflict deals increased damage and causes your foes to burn. So, more damage with Torment and burning damage. Lots of confliction, lots of condition damage there. And then the last one here is Feed from Corruption. Whenever you remove or corrupt a boon from an enemy, you gain that boon. And then it shows all the boons that it applies to. So, won't read those off, but basically you get the idea of it. So that is the talent tree of the Scourge. Basically a lot of boon removal. If you haven't noticed, if you've been looking through a lot of these videos, there's a lot of classes with a lot of boon removal that we have. So, with that being said, I'm going to switch it back so we can have 3 sand shades, and we're going to look through the utility skills. So the first one here is Sand Flare. Punishment. Grant nearby allies a barrier. Convert a boon on a nearby enemies into Torment and Cripple. So pretty simple right there. I'm going to go ahead and use it, and you're going to see the barrier. I've showed this off in other videos, I believe, but the barrier kind of, whereas your health bar like grows up here to maximum, your barrier then decreases down to here, and then if someone starts attacking you, you like start losing your barrier up to the top before losing your health back down this way. So as you can see right here, there's the barrier, 4,000, and it decreases back up, and then if you were to start losing health, it would go back down. So that is the barrier. The next one here is Trail of Anguish. Punishment. Leave a trail of sand as you travel. Grant swiftness to allies passing through it. Inflict burning on enemies and corrupt a boon into cripple and torment. So once again, more corruption of boons. We're going to head down to the training dummies here so we can take a look at this. And we will go ahead and use this Trail of Anguish. So as you can see there, I can just basically run wherever, and it lasts for a really long time. It doesn't look much like a Trail of Anguish, but the Scourge is very sand-based. The name maybe doesn't fit as well, but it's an interesting spec. I have to say it's interesting how this all works out. So the next one here is Serpent Siphon. Unleash ghostly serpents towards foes in the targeted area. Serpents striking their targets become magical sand, which grants allies a barrier. Convert a boon from struck enemies into torment and cripple. So there's a lot of converting boons into from struck enemies into torment and cripple, which is going to work really well with the whole some of the talents that you saw earlier. And here's another Hollow Smith showing off everything he can possibly do. Let me go ahead and run to the other training dummies so you guys can actually take a look at some of this stuff. So long. Nope, he's shredding through everything too. Okay, he finally had his fill of trying to be cool. Alright, here we go. This is a large area. So we're gonna go ahead and use this right here. And there are the snakes that run out, and the little orbs nearby that grant the shields. So there are barriers, excuse me. So there's your barriers. They pop up a little bit before it, and then that is the Serpent Siphon. Converting basically more boons into torment and cripple. Now this next one, I almost wanted to skip Scourge and not do it because this is not working. And I really don't like showing you guys stuff when I can't show you everything. But I will read it off to you, and I'll try and explain it the best I can. This one's called Sand Swell. You plunge into the ground, creating a portal through Tyria for allied use. Grant allies using this passage a health barrier. Convert a boon on nearby enemies into torment and cripple. So more converting of boons. I mean, this is where you're going to get a lot of your life force, is really from this converting if you have that talent. As you can see, I can use it. It says that content has been temporarily disabled. Please try again. So the confusing things here that confused me initially. Portal. The word portal. Okay, it is not like a mesmer portal. Nothing like that. Okay, it's more like just a zone in which people can pass through, and allies will gain a barrier, and enemies will have their boons turned into torment and cripple. So that's basically what it is. Radius of 180 and has a range of 900. So that's what I expected to look at. Like most likely it was disabled due to graphical glitches causing problems in the game. I'm sorry I can't show it to you, but that is one of the punishments that's available to a Scourge player. The last ability, if I can find it here, it's not Trail of Anguish, it's going to be this one. Desiccate. Draw in vital energy from your foes to gain life force and grant boons to nearby allies. Convert a boon onto affected enemies into torment and cripple once again. I mean, this is a common recurring theme here, so we'll go ahead and use it here. As you can see there, it just sucks it all in. So I have a feeling that it's going to make that talent, once again, just looking at it, gain life force for every boon you remove or corrupt. And you may not even need this. Just like this, I feel like is going to become essential. My life force is maxed out right now because people have been killing stuff near me for a while I've been prepping for the Scourge video. But watch how quickly it drains when we start going through these abilities right here. Before we get to these abilities though, let's go ahead and just take a quick look at the torch skills because it's quick and easy to go through. The first one is Harrowing Wave. Unleash a wave of corrupted fire, burning and tormenting enemies. So damage, burning 3 stacks, and torment 3 stacks. So we'll go ahead and use this. 600 range. There you go. Straight in front of you. And then the last one is Oppressive Collapse. Corrupt the ground under your target. If they remain within the area, they will be knocked down. Grant might to allies near your target based on how many conditions they have. So we'll go ahead and use this on this target right here. There you go, right there. It's kind of it has a disgusting sound effect. But that's it right there. And then the last thing that I did not show you, apologize for skipping over it, is your elite punishment or elite utility skill, which is Ghastly Breach. Breach into the realm of torment for a brief time, granting might to allies and slowing enemies. Convert a boon on enemies into torment and cripple each pulse. Each pulse. So there's 5 pulses, intervals of 1 second, lasts for, I believe, 5 seconds. If I have it correct, radius is 300, so it's decently large. Boons converted into conditions 1. And then we're talking about boon conversions, once again, torment and cripple, and then you have might, and then there's also slow and burning per pulse. So it's pretty powerful. So we'll go ahead and use this here. As you can see here, right there, it does a lot right there. It's a pretty cool spell visual too. So it does a lot of damage. That's what you can expect out of it. And personally, it's one of the ultimates. I call it an ultimate. It's one of the better elite utility skills that I've seen. So with that, let's get to the Sand Shades. So I've already explained Manifest Sand Shade. One thing you should know is that there is a count recharge of 15 seconds. So if I put one down, it takes 15 seconds for it to recharge again. And it lasts for 25 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and place the 3 of them. And as you can see, you can kind of create a zone here off of them. And all 3 of them are here. And you can only have 3 up at once. So you put one down, the other one goes away. So let's look at this first ability here. It's called Nefarious Favor. You and your shades convert conditions from allies into boons. So this is something that's very helpful for you and your allies. Now I will say, you can put them all in a stack near your allies and then, have them all grouped up and then do it from there, which is pretty nice. So I'm going to stack up the 3 again, and then you're going to, we'll just do it with 2. So I'll go ahead and use it right here. And there you go. It not only uses it on yourself, but it uses it on the other 2 as well. And it took a chunk out of my life force. And as you can see, my life force is going back up because people are killing the bots around me. That's the only reason the life force is going up. If you're in a stalemate battle in world versus world, your life force is not going to be going up. Let's just leave it at that. So, with that, let's go ahead and put 2 more Sand Shades down. They're shades. I'm calling them shades from now on. And we'll look at the next one. Sand Cascade. Sand rises up near you and your shades to shield nearby allies. So this is a barrier ability. So these first 2 are more of, utility buffs for your allies. So right there, buffs on everyone. And it, takes a certain amount of life force. I will use it again on, and you can use this without shades. It'll just be on yourself. So as you can see, I used it right there, and I gave him a barrier. You can see his barrier right there. So it's not exclusive to just the shades. It's also usable on yourself. These next 2 are more damaging. The third one is Garish Pillar. Induce fear in enemies around you and your Sand Shades. So this is going to be the big one. I'm going to go ahead and put the 3 Sand Shades down here. And we'll put them near them. As you can see, they deal damage. And then I'm going to use the Torment right here as soon as the other one pops up. And you're going to see the fear go out. That's a lot of fear. And as you saw, it took a massive chunk of my life force out. So you have to be careful. You can see how quickly using these abilities, I can burn through all of my life force very quickly. And if I'm not returning it back fast enough through some means, you won't have much life force left. So with that, let's go ahead and look at the last ability, which is Desert Shroud. Enter the Desert Shroud, gaining a powerful barrier and pulsing necrotic energy around you and your Sand Shades. So we'll go ahead and put the 3 Sand Shades down once again, and then we will go ahead and use this right here. As you can see right there, you are pulsing constantly to everyone. So it really does provide some good zoning, I would say. for your character. And as you can see, I'm out of life force. Like, there's nothing I can do. Until people start killing stuff around me or I start killing stuff, that's not going to come back up. So definitely I have a feeling that that first talent and that first tier is going to be absolutely essential for Scourge players, because they're especially in something like World v World, because they're going to need to be able to regenerate life force as much as possible. And it's pretty difficult the way they have it set up right here. Maybe things will change before the patch comes out, I don't know. But that's the way I see it as of now. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I really apologize for that one punishment not working. I don't even know the name of it now because I'm in combat and I can't even switch to C. But I apologize for it not working and I can't show it to you. It's called Sand Swell. I'm sorry that I can't show it to you, but that is everything with the Scourge. It's interesting. It's different. When people saw the picture, it's probably not quite what you expect. It's a little bit like Ventari's, the Centaur stance for Revenant, but I kind of prefer the stationary ones versus moving the tablet around. So I do like this better, and there is a lot of potential with zoning that I think is going to be utilized by a lot of players, at least in World v World, in my opinion. So that's everything with the Scourge, the elite specialization for the Necromancer coming in Guild Wars 2 Path of Fire. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys later. Tearless out.